here is a quick introduction to reading scientific notation in a TI graphing calculator. So the screenshot on the left, this one I use a TI-84 plus CE, but this works in any calculator. So you can just use a basic scientific calculator that works. So the first fraction you see on the left, do you see that I have -3? I have -3 divided by a very large value, and then the result I have -8.67 followed by a punch number, and then you see that there is a e minus 7. So what is that mean? What is the e minus 7 mean? So the e minus 7, the e is a base 10, right? Base 10, and then the -7 is an exponent. So this one, the way I write that is I usually keep 2 decimal places. Once again, 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places means I have to keep 2 digits on the right hand side of the decimal. So I started with -8 point. So this is a -8 point, and then I keep 2 digits on the right. So that will be a 67 or a 68. So this a is greater than 5. So since a is greater than or equal to 5, you add 1 to the 7th. So instead of 67, we will have a 68. So it's -8.68, and then once again, disregard the negative. This number must be between 1 and 10, including 1, not including 10. So it can be a 1, but not 10. Disregard the negative. And then multiply the e, the capital E means a base 10. And then the -7 is an exponent. So that's how you read it. So you have -8.68 and then times 10 to the -7. So if you have watched my previous video, so what that means, this is a scientific notation, and then you convert that to a standard notation. That means you have to move the decimal point 7 steps to the left. So this will be a very, very small value that is close to a 0. Once again, the -7 means you move the decimal point 7 steps to the left. All right, the next one, you have 12. You have 12 divided by a large value. So 12 divided by a large value, that is approximately equals to 1.215 times 10 to the -8. So that one is 1.215. This time I keep 3 decimal places. Regarding the 2, 3, 4 decimal places, you have to read the problem. If you want to keep 2 decimal places, then that will be 1.22, all right? And then times 10 to the -8. In standard notation, that means you have to move the decimal 8 steps to the left, all right? Next, we have a -5 divided by 99999, right? You have -5.000, a bunch of 05 times 10 to the -7. Okay, so that is a -5. You can just do a -5. I don't think you need to keep that many digits. Usually people don't write that. If they ask you to keep 1 decimal place, then I would just do a 5.0. One decimal place. I know the 0 doesn't affect anything, but if they insist to keep 1 decimal, then just write it out. Times 10 to the -7, just like a GPA, right? So 4.0, 4.00, that means 4. But if you have a GPA 4, you don't say 4, right? You say I have a 4.0. How about the next screenshot? 25 raised to a 10th power. So 25 times itself, 10 times. The product is a very, very large value. So the calculator said that is 9.53. Of course, 25 times itself a few times, you are not going to get 9 point something, right? But don't forget that there is a E13 at the end. So that the E13 is basically this. Keeping 2 decimal places, because I have been doing this the entire time. So 9.53. If you want to keep 1, then you can do a 9.5. If you want to keep 3, then you can do 9.537. You add 1 to the 6. And then times 10 to the 13th power. That means you will take this decimal, move 13 steps to the right. So regarding moving the decimal to the left, to the right, you have to watch my previous video. And then the next one, negative 2 raised itself 100 times. So by the way, this is a negative 2 raised itself 100 times. There is no parentheses, so that means you have a negative 1 times 2 raised to itself 100 times. So the negative 1 stays there, the negative stays there. And then the 1.26, I'm going to do a 1.27 times 10 to the 30th power. That means you have to move the decimal 30 steps to the right. Last one, 0.25. So 0.25 times itself 12 times. 0.25 times 0.25, what is 0.25? So 0.25 is 1/4. If you just multiply itself one time, that is 1/16, right? So after you do the multiplication, 1/4 is greater than 1/16. So that means if you keep multiplying, the denominator is getting so big, the numerator is just a 1. So 1 divided by a very large denominator, the answer is very close to 0, right? Imagine 1 divided by 6 million. The quotient must be very close to 0. So this is a 5.96 and then times 10 to the negative 8. You move the decimal point 8 steps to the left. As a result, you have 0 point followed by a bunch of 0, 596. Well, that is very close to a 0. Okay, so that's it for the scientific notation in a TI graphing calculator. So once again, the screenshot, I use a TI-84 plus CE to do it. This works in any graphing calculator. So you can just pick up a scientific calculator, the one that you can only do computation but no graphing. You will still see the E. Even though you are using the calculator in your phone, you can still see the E. So this one is like a universal symbol, a notation in any calculator. So when they do scientific, when the calculator display the answer in scientific notation, they will use a base 7 followed by a number. So that base, the 7, yeah, did I say base 7? A base, they will use a capital E. Capital E means base 10, and then the number after that is an exponent. Alright, so that's it in this video. If you like the way I teach scientific notation, algebra, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel for more contents like that, and I will meet you all in the next video. Signing out.